As a black person in America, there are moments where black people do things that make you feel embarrassed. Now, true racial liberation is the moment where a black person can do something and we just judge that black person based on their individual action. But I got to tell you, I ain't there yet. When I see black people do certain things in public, I watch them. I don't care if I'm sitting on the train, I don't care if I'm crossing the street, or if I'm at the White House, which I don't get invited to. If I see a black person acting the fool, I feel like they shamed the race. And that's what happened the other day when Billy Porter went to the White House. Now, I'm going to set the scene for you first. Negroes are at the White House because of Juneteenth. Juneteenth became a national holiday under Donald Trump. Yuck. And since then, the White House has used it as an opportunity to extol the virtues of the administration, to talk about how down they are, how connected to the community and culture they are. That's why they hold Eid celebrations after Ramadan. Except no imam showed up because you're bombing Palestine, or you're aiding and abetting the bombing of Palestine, the genocide against the Palestinian people in Gaza. But Negroes showed up for Juneteenth. Doesn't matter what Biden does to black folk. They showed up for Juneteenth. Oh, these Negroes showed up and showed out for Juneteenth. And when they got to Juneteenth, there was music and celebrations, all the blackness, right? The White House, the same White House that undermines black freedom and liberation, fundamentally is the kind of the staple of an imperial nation. They invite Negroes to come sing and dance. And Negroes show up and they sing and they dance. They show the world the beauty and the power and the majesty of black life and black culture, which I'm not mad at. What I don't like, though, is how some of us act when we get in front of these white people. Now, before I show you the thing that irritates me, let me first show you the context. I want you to get a feel of the cultural milieu. It's a fancy word. I want you to understand the context, the milieu. Look at this milieu. I don't want to love nobody but you. I don't want to love nobody but you. Gospel flavor. I don't want to love nobody but you. I don't want to love nobody but you. I don't want to love nobody but you. Say, what is it, too? He says today, he will come through. He won't, that's not what superheroes do. So the first thing you got to pay attention to is Joe Biden. Joe Biden is, at best, 50% in this room. The other half is on Jupiter somewhere. He looks like he had his first edible, and it was kicking in right around the time that Kirk Franklin started kicking it up there. I don't know. I don't think he's high. I think he looks like people who are high look. I think it's more like he's really old and doesn't know where he is. I don't expect him to sing and dance. I don't expect him to clap. I don't expect him to do none of that. The fact that other people are clapping because more attention to the fact that he looks completely out of it. Completely out of it. But I'm not mad at that. I mean, I am mad at that because we shouldn't elect people that damn old. You can call it ageist if you want, but nobody that damn old needs to be the president. I'm sorry. Nobody that old needs to be. I'm sorry, DeMarie. Nobody that old wants to be or needs to be the president. That's the word. It is a mess. And so You got all these Negroes there who are clapping and singing and dancing and smiling. And I'm not mad at that. In seriousness, I mean, the White House should celebrate Black culture. But it's the way we do it sometimes, man. And you saw in the front of the line, and I know you saw it. I know you saw it. You saw Billy Porter. Billy Porter is a phenomenal, I mean, a phenomenal performer, phenomenal singer, dancer, actor. Billy Porter does it all. That's him on the left. He's wearing a sequin gown. So my issue with Billy Porter isn't what he's wearing. Wear what you want. Not my business. And it's a nice gown. Beautiful gowns, to quote the great Aretha Franklin. That ain't my issue at all. My issue is after all that singing and dancing, Billy Porter walks over to the president and does this. Kisses his hand. What in the step and fetch it is happening? Why are you kissing this man's hand? Why are you kissing this man's hand? Now you see Doug Emhoff, Kamala Harris's husband, the second man, I think the second gentleman. He's there. Vice President Harris is there. President Biden's there. Everybody's there. Everybody's happy. We could have just been there. We could have just did a handshake because we're happy. We could have did a hug because we're happy. But you kissing that man's hand. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. You know, Abel, I'm looking at Doug too, and I'm like, is he looking at Billy Porter? Like, what are you doing? But sometimes pictures can be out of context, so I don't want to assume that that's what's happening. Is he being facetious? I don't know. But if he is being facetious, it's a bad, bad joke. It's a terrible joke because the context doesn't get communicated in the joke. All I see is this man kissing Joe Biden's hand. And it might seem like a small gesture, but it's a huge gesture on another level. First of all, we're in a season where some of us are trying to hold President Biden more accountable. And the White House's position, every Democratic White House I'm talking about, is that we're the best game in town for you. And you know what? Compared to Republicans, they probably are. But Black people get framed, as political scientists talk about, as a captured electorate. We can't go nowhere. Democrats are our best bet, and Democrats don't give a damn about us. So what happens? We stay. And they just keep saying, well, you can't do no better. In fact, when Joe Biden shows up on the Breakfast Club and says, if you don't vote for me, you're not really Black, ha, 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 you think that's funny. But there's a certain kind of insiderness that you think you have. There's a certain kind of cookout status that you think you have. And I don't believe in any Black people giving white people cookout passes. No, nobody gets to the cookout. You know why white people don't get to the cookout? Because when shit like this happens, the white man should be like, no, bro, don't do that. Don't do that, bro. This ain't it. Stand up, Billy. This is a reminder of why we can't ever trust Democrats. Not the kiss itself, but not that. It's just a reminder that our votes are taken for granted, and a big chunk of our people won't fight for more because they feel like Democrats are our friends. Now, I understand it's also about just having good home training. Billy Porter's a wonderful guy, as far as I know, and he has great home training. And he was just, honoring the person who invited him to the White House, the damn president. I get it. Be gracious.
Be humble even. But I'm old enough to remember a few years ago when they got mad at a Democratic president for just bowing to a certain president. We don't bow. We don't do this. We don't do that. We're Americans. So why is this Negro bowing? Why is the president okay with that? It's not okay. It's absolutely not okay. It's embarrassing. And I know as a black man, I shouldn't be embarrassed by what other black men do. But I got to tell you, when I see this, it just emboldens other people to engage in similar acts of coonery. And I'm at a moment right now where my coonery quotient is really, really high. Like I can't take no more because we through the roof with it. And it's even more disturbing to the second point because Billy Porter has been chosen to be James Baldwin on screen. He's supposed to be James Baldwin. He's supposed to be James Baldwin. How the hell are you going to be James Baldwin? Scratching when you don't itch and laughing when you are not tickled. How are you going to be James Baldwin who stood up against white supremacy? How are you going to play James Baldwin who fought for black dignity, who exemplified black dignity, who spoke out against empire? How are you going to be James Baldwin while kissing the hand, literally kissing the ring of the leader of the most sinister and powerful empire in the world today? How are you going to do that? What would James Baldwin say to you? What would James Baldwin say to Biden? What would Baldwin instruct someone to do if they were going to the White House? Would it be to shuck and jive and sing and dance and kiss the ring? Or would it be something substantive? Now, again, I'm not trying to attack Billy Porter, but you can't be up in these spaces acting like you ain't been there before. We need more. We need somebody who doesn't support Zionism. We need somebody who doesn't support imperialism. We need somebody who's willing to call out white supremacy, not try to integrate into it. And that's what Billy Porter's doing. And that's why this picture is so despicable. So I'm sorry. I don't like to call people out, especially my black fam, right? We should do call-ins. But this is a very visible picture at a very visible public event that in and of itself, I think is problematic. But this right here, ooh, our people got a lot of unlearning to do. A lot of unlearning to do. Everybody can't be James Baldwin. Nobody could be James Baldwin. He's a 101. He's 101. But if you're going to try and be in that tradition, if you're going to try to be him. And I know it's acting. I know you don't have to be that person, but it'd be real funky if the person who was out here playing Martin Luther King hated black people, and the person playing Malcolm X was running around with white women. I mean, I don't know, eating pork chops. I mean, it's just something about it would seem problematic. Well, right now you're playing Baldwin, who was a same gender loving, anti-imperialist truth teller, courageous, beautiful, bold. And you are here kissing the ring of empire. Sorry, Billy Porter. This ain't it.